Guys, I'm sure you're aware of the catastrophe that's going on in Lebanon. I am raising money with a reliable charity, One Ummah, that will help get your donations to those people that require it the most. I will leave a link in the description. Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Oh, and by the way, just because there are certain fanatical Christians, I don't believe all of Christianity is like this. Obviously. Somebody sent me this clip of a Christian Iranian comedian.
Now, you thought your job was difficult.
Who is trying to be edgy by picking on Islam. I'm sure you'll agree he's about as funny as his God's funeral.
Sorry.
And it's clear he didn't drink enough blood of Christ before he started his gig.
Maybe Islamic State has something to do with Islam? Just a little bit. I mean, it has Islamic in its name.
Hang on a minute. Do you honestly believe that Dr. Pepper was a real doctor? Or are you somebody who's constantly voiding his iPhone warranty because you think it's an actual apple? After all, it's in the name. You're very quick to talk about ISIS. What do you talk about the Army of God terrorist organization? Yeah, Christians have got loads of these, but it's kept under wraps, as you can tell from this Salon article. They're like, there's at least 6 groups, but they don't get the same coverage. Oh yes, the Army of God, they commit anti-abortion violence. Yes, by bombing, murdering, kidnapping, all of that. Don't forget the Lord's Resistance Army that started in Uganda and is making its way through Africa. Human Rights Watch says they've killed thousands. And of course you got the concerned Christians who were a bunch of extremists that went to Israel and tried to bomb the Muslim sites. Oh yes, and then they were so extreme for the Israelis that they got deported. Boy, when the Israelis kick you out, you must have done something really wrong. So much for the religion of peace.
This is a Christmas gig and I'm not very religious, but when it comes to religions, I think Christianity is the best one. That's not the funny part, but okay.
There's a reason people are laughing, because the question is, which Christianity are you talking about? And which Christology? Was he fully man? Was he fully divine? Was he part man? Was he part divine? And you better get the right one, because if you get the wrong one, then you're a heretic. You had the Ebionites who believed Jesus was just a man. You had the Marcionites who believed that he was only divine. And then you had certain people that believed he was a bit of both. But then if you got his relationship with the Father wrong, you are labeled as a heretic. And then which Bible? The Protestant one that has 77 books, and it goes all the way up to the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible that has 81 books.
Jesus said, "He who is without sin, cast the first stone," and from that we learn the importance of due process of law.
Yeah, nice try, mate, because if you look at the early manuscripts of the Bible, this verse does not exist. Just take the King James Version, which has this verse, then look in the NIV version, which will have this verse in italics and tell you it's not in the early manuscripts.
And Jesus also said, "Forgive them, Father, they don't know what they are doing."
Yeah, nice try, because this was taken from the Gospel of Luke, which talks about Jesus when he's being crucified. He's constantly talking. Someone's taken his cross. He's talking to the women weeping. As he gets to the cross, he's talking to the people that are on his right and left. And right towards the end, he's also speaking to God as well. Compare that with the Gospel of Mark. He's walking. He's quiet. People are insulting him. He's quiet. He's on a cross being insulted. He's quiet. And then he lets off a final cry, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Why didn't you pick this one?
Anywhere in the world, right? It's almost as if Christianity is the religion of peace. But we can't say that, obviously, because those other guys have already claimed it.
Why don't you tell the people that there was a study done by Naveed Sheikh and he looked at all of the attacks done by various faiths from 0 to 2008, and he concluded that top of the list of religious affiliated crimes was Christianity with a whopping 178 million. Islam came at number 6. Didn't even get the silver or the bronze medal. And why don't you tell them about the report of the SPLC? They said that the most of the terrorist attacks that have taken place in the United States are actually done by non-Muslims.
Okay, in that case, I would like to patent driving trucks into Christmas markets, flying planes into skyscrapers, shooting down French cartoonists in their office, shooting down Israeli athletes in the Olympic Village.
Yeah, again, nice try, because millions in Iraq were killed by America being the leader, the head of the snake, and George W. Bush, he said, as you can see, God told me to do it. And if that's not all, he's using and invoking crusades, another shining example of Christian history. And as for the French cartoonist you're talking about, Charlie Hebdo, no one really understands that they actually fired one of their cartoonists who was there from pretty much day one, who goes by the name of Maurice Sinnett, in 2009, when he was accused of anti-Semitism. Oh yes, he offended the Jewish community. But his editor had enough and he fired him. And he talked about the Olympic Village. Are you talking about Eric Rudolph, the Christian? In 1996, he planted 4 bombs, and one of them was in the Olympic Village. The other one was abortion clinic, and another one at a lesbian bar. Religion of peace, because it doesn't get brought up again and again and again. And you know, there's no 9/11, 7/7, October, so there's none of that. It's just kind of just buried under the carpet, you know what I mean?
And I'm not even the guy who's pushing drone buttons. I'm the guy standing behind him saying, yeah, it's that guy. Yeah, I know they all look the same. That's why I'm here.
You heard it yourself. The guy sold out his own country to come here and do some cringy comedy, which frankly, I don't know why people would be wasting their time listening to this waste of oxygen. Let's leave it there, guys. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum.